here's what I think. I think that if we want to address global warming, if we want universal health care, we desperately need to be willing to take on the obstacles to the change that we need. And in the case of global warming, it's oil companies, utility companies, power companies, then their lobbyists in Washington. They have a powerful, powerful presence, and they have a powerful influence on what happens in your government. Same thing's true with health insurance and with universal health care and health insurance companies and drug companies and their lobbyists. We have to take their power away from them. So what I have proposed is, first, I've never taken any money from a Washington lobbyist. I never will. I don't think any of us should be taking money from Washington lobbyists. I think we ought to say no to those people. And I unfortunately have seen the way they operate. I know what they do. I mean, a lot of you know this already, but the big lobbying firms in Washington, Exxon's lobbying firm, let's use them as an example. Exxon's lobbying firm has a bunch of corporate Republicans who lobby for them and a bunch of corporate Democrats who lobby for them. If the Democrats are in power, the Democrats take the lead, the Democrat lobbyists. If the Republicans are in power, the Republican lobbyists take the lead. I don't know about you, but I sure hope you agree with me. I do not, in this presidential election, want to replace a crowd of corporate Republicans with corporate Democrats. That is not what America does. And we have to take the power away from these people, which means banning lobbyist contributions. Now, I want to give credit where it's due. I've never taken money from lobbyists. In this campaign, Senator Obama's not taking money for lobbyists. I applaud him for that. Since you know you have choices, Senator Clinton does, and has taken millions of dollars from lobbyists. And she's entitled to do that. She's entitled to her opinion. It's not illegal. I just disagree with it. And I think we need to make a really strong principled stand. The ultimate answer to this is public financing of all of our political campaigns to get this money out of politics that corrupts the system that we believe in. Now, I want to go one step beyond that. I think also, I want to have people to have faith in their democracy again, that it works. And I don't have faith, and a lot of Americans don't have faith in these electronic voting machines. We need to require by law that whatever the voting device is, that there be a paper ballot that's traceable so that you know when you vote, that your vote is being counted. No more of this business of people voting going into some black box and people have no idea what comes out the other end. That needs to be brought to an end. And then finally, I'd like to see us, and this is what I want to do as president, create a citizens Congress so that every couple of years we have 1 million or more people across the country represented by people like you here today who speak out, who participate in long discussions, town hall meetings, so that the president, the Congress, are not isolated from the people they represent, that they actually know what's going on, so that your voice gets heard. No more of this, flying around the country, little photo op meetings with people that are ticketed to come in, so long as they say the right thing. No more of that. We're done with that. And by the way, I want to say one other thing. This is a complete aside, but I do believe it. When I'm president of the United States, dissent will once again be patriotic in the United States. Heart and soul of this democracy. Now, there are a lot of other issues that I haven't touched. Poverty, which is the cause of my life, is something I feel deeply about. And as long as I'm alive and breathing, I will be speaking about it and fighting to do something about it. Carol, who talked about New Orleans, and I know what she saw in New Orleans played a significant role in her decision, thank God for you and for America, to run for Congress. But here's my view. I announced my presidential campaign for the 9th Ward of New Orleans. Well, I've been down there many times since. It's heartbreaking what's going on. We do not need a surge in Baghdad. We need a surge in New Orleans. We need to do that by young people who are having trouble putting their lives back together. But I hope somebody will ask me about it. I'd love to talk about my ideas about poverty. Love to talk. I have a universal health care proposal. I'm proud of the fact I was the first one to come out with one. I'm happy to go through that with you. But in order to keep this speech short, I want to talk about one last subject. There, in Iraq, Please, ask me about Iraq. I got lots of ideas about what we need to do. The starting place is we got to end this war in Iraq. Got to be brought to an end. It is that. It's a civil war now, is what it is. But I want to say something about Iran, because this is another area where you have a choice, and you just need to know what it is. You've all watched Bush rattling his saber on Iran. We've heard this talk before, haven't we? We heard it before Iraq. And it makes most Americans very nervous, with good cause. So, there was an important vote that took place on the floor of the United States Senate a couple of weeks ago. And the vote was to try to declare the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, a military militia inside Iran, a terrorist organization. That was the purpose of it. Now, you know who wants the Iranian Revolutionary Guard declared a terrorist organization. Bush and, unfortunately, Dick Cheney. Both of them want it. My view is it's the first step in giving Bush the authority to take action against Iran. That's simple. And I've learned my lesson the hard way on this. You cannot trust this guy. You give him an inch and he will take a mile. And he has to be stopped. Now, I want to credit two presidential candidates, Senator Biden and Senator Dodd, who voted no. That, in my judgment, is the right vote. I think Senator Obama was not there when the vote took place. But Senator Clinton voted yes. And she's entitled to her vote. She's entitled to her opinion. I just disagree with it. And I disagree with it strongly. What I'm worried about is, so 6 months from now when Bush invades Iran, are we going to hear once again, well, you know, only if I only if I'd known then what I know now. Right? And then I read in today's New York Times, some of you may have seen this already, that her advisors were explaining her vote, and they said she was shifting from primary mode to general election mode.